Hello everybody, this is Waldorf.
And this is Statler.
And we're following up with our 2.0 preview beta test rules.
Comparison,
I can never come up with a good thing to call this
difference,
and stick with it.
you know.
Anyway.
Delta.
We are in section, what?
9?
Section 9.
Of our multi-part series.
This is the charge phase.
The charge phase. This is where you pay.
Would you get charged?
Yes. You should bring your credit card, and that's what you're doing.
But they told me this was a free game.
Obviously, they lied because they put charge in here.
Oh, they're doing the micro charges for in that game?
That
if
must
you
be
want
what
a
it is.
+1 charge.
Absolutely.
Just enter your credit card. Anyway, charge phase. Charge phase sequence. Charge phase is divided into the following steps.
And this is a new phase, but it's really...
It used to be part of the movement phase.
It's the top half of the movement phase.
Correct.
Which has now been split out.
Now they've added it. Now it's its own phase.
Which is...
Because it had to be done separately anyway.
Yes, and people got confused. It's better that they just separate it out.
Mm-hmm. So the charge phase is following the following. Start of the charge phase. Take decimated tests. Select a unit and declare a charge. Opponent declares and resolves the charge reaction. Repeat steps 3 through 4 of this sequence until all units that wish to declare a charge have done so. Select a unit that declared a charge and roll charge range and move the unit. Repeat step 6 of this sequence until all that have declared a charge have moved and in the charge phase.
Never actually tells you that it's the phasing player doing this.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
okay.
observation.
Charge phase, yeah, I guess you are correct.
Yeah. we know it, but
I guess for a new player that would be... Okay, somewhere down here it says active.
But up here...
Yeah, it needs to be up there, correct. The active player does
it should be at the top.
Yeah. Maybe they just oversight they'll add it.
I'm sure they just didn't see it. Yeah.
All right. At step decimated.
And this
is brand new. This is another change that's going to be very significant.
Yes.
At step 2 of the charge phase sequence, each of your unengaged units that are at or below 25% of their starting number of health points. Starting number of health points.
Right.
Taken from the army list. Must take a discipline check called a decimated test.
Mm-hmm.
If this test is failed, the unit is shaken until the end of the player turn. A single model unit that started the game as a single model unit, automatically passes. Okay, so single models ignore this.
Right.
They don't ignore it, they just automatically pass.
Correct.
Anyway, characters joined to units are not included in the unit's starting value of health points, but the character's health points are included when determining the unit's current number of health points. So if you've got a unit that, let me get this straight, let me make sure I got this right. So if I have 5 Goblin Raiders, right?
Make it
just
easily divided by 4. So,
well,
say you have 8 just to make it easy math.
I'm doing it my way.
Okay, do it.
I've got 5 Goblin Raiders because I had something specifically in mind.
Okay.
I got 5 Goblin Raiders and I put my Goblin King in there.
Yes.
If I have, well, I'll start with 5 Goblin Raiders. If I have 5 Goblin Raiders, they're down to 1. They have to make a test, obviously.
Right.
If I started with 5 Goblin Raiders, I have 1 left. You're right, 5 doesn't work. God damn it. Anyway, if I started with...
Who has a superior intellect?
If I started with 7 Goblin Raiders, 7, okay? Not 8.
Uh-huh.
I'll even start with 8. I started with 8 Goblin Raiders.
Yes.
I'm down to 2. Mm-hmm. I have to make a decimated test.
Right.
If I have those same 2, except a Goblin King is in there with them,
you don't.
He not adds 1, he adds 3. Because he adds his hit points. So I'm sorry, if I had a unit of 8 that's down to 1,
right.
1 guy and a Goblin King is 4, so it doesn't test.
Yeah.
He's adding his... That's the important. He's adding his hit points,
yes.
Not his...
Yes. Well,
it's not a model.
Correct.
It's not models, it's hit points. Mm-hmm. That's what I was trying to kind of
So it makes characters
demonstrate.
Quite important for units that are tinkering at the margin.
That makes the fact... I mean, you've seen it where it's like, I wish you would have killed 1 more because now my guy can't rally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think the character is counting health points instead of as a mod, just as a 1 for being a model makes a difference to this.
Oh, it definitely makes a difference.
And this whole thing about testing
Right, and you test every turn. This is decimated, though.
Yeah, this hurts me a lot.
Just means shaken. You can't do certain things.
Yeah, I understand, but
you don't run away.
This really hurts low leadership armies. So, but we'll have to see how that works out.
If they take lots of casualties, yeah.
All right, moving on. Declaring charges.
I think it hurts MSU armies more than low leadership armies, but
well, just what I was saying is I typically will get a Wolf Rider unit shot up.
Yeah.
And it gets lucky, makes it save, and I've got 1 left. Now every turn it's got to pass its test to do anything.
Yeah, it just means you can't send a single guy by himself.
So I just think it's
squeezing in between units and stuff.
It does cut down on his chaff possibilities.
Yeah, it gets rid of these one-man cavalry chaff unit. It doesn't get rid of it, but it
reduces
their effectiveness.
I can't tell you, it does. You know what? You're right. I can't tell you how many times, even last weekend when I was playing the game, when I was playing in a small little doubles tournament,
right.
It was, I heard at least 3 times, it's like, I don't care, 1 of those is as good as 5 of them.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay. I can see that more now.
So it affects that, I think. I said, I think it hurts MSU a bit because they tend to have smaller units, so it's easier for them to get to 25%.
Okay. Declaring charges, it just...
Not a bad thing, not a good thing, just
different.
Just different.
Charges can only be declared at targets that have their boundary rectangle in the charging unit's line of sight. So just kind of clarified the boundary rectangle part of that.
Yeah, because you actually had to see it before, didn't you? For declaring charges, isn't that a change? I don't remember.
I'm going to pass on that
because
I've got it wrong so many times.
Yeah, but it's the boundary rectangle, which we saw in the earlier thing. So, yeah. If you can see the back, basically, if you can see the back corner of the base that the thing should be occupying, you see it.
Correct. Charge reactions. Must immediately declare and resolve its charge reaction before any other movements. Before any more charges are declared.
Yeah.
A unit that is already fleeing when charged must always choose to flee. And that's not much of a choice then, is it?
Yes. You must always choose.
I might just always flee.
Yes. Must
anyway,
or just must flee.
I actually think it's funny.
Yeah.
Hold reaction means that the unit does nothing.
Unit engaged in combat can only choose a hold reaction.
Again, I'm not choosing if that's the only thing I can do. Anyway, stand and shoot. I guess it's for consistency in the way they wrote it.
I suppose.
Stand and shoots may be taken if the charge unit is a shooting weapons. The charging unit has more than half its front facing in the reacting player's unit's front arc, and the charging unit is further away than its advance rate. Okay, so none of this really changed, just worded a little bit different.
Correct.
This is shooting attack, charging unit, shooting phase, beyond the weapon's maximum range. Oh, again.
Yeah, more than half the front facing. That's the one that always gets me.
Right. Okay, and the unit can only pretty much this did not change. I just cleaned up the rules.
I think so, yeah. At least that's part of it.
Cleaned up a few pieces of the writing of it.
Right.
To incorporate things to clarify things, I guess.
Brings us to flee. When you choose to flee. A charge unit starts fleeing. Okay. It is immediately pivoted to face directly away from the charging enemy in the direction of a line drawn from the centre of the charging unit through the centre of the charged unit, and performs a flee move. So it basically has to flee directly away from the center of the charging unit.
Yep.
As the unit completes this flee, it's the same as it was before.
Yep. So anyway,
it's just written for Brits.
It is. The redirecting the charge. The only change here is you have to make a discipline test rather than a leadership check, because discipline is the new word for the
new leadership. Yes, discipline is the new leadership. Like orange is the new black.
There you go.
Yeah.
Once all charges are made, you move your chargers.
Yes. So 2d6 plus your advance rate, which is just instead of your movement rate. So just updating the language.
This is interesting.
Yes.
A single wheel can be performed during the charge. The wheel may not exceed 90 degrees is blanked out.
Correct. It only applies to skirmishers now.
Wow.
Yeah.
this was a
Big deal.
that's kind of that can be a big deal at times.
Yep.
Okay. Because there are times when something's in your front arc, but it wasn't 90.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I need a diagram. Okay, this is not going to work. So this means in some cases, you know how you're forming a battle line, and there's an enemy unit coming in, but not in front of you, in front of a unit beside you.
Yeah.
All right. So you imagine this. So not the unit. You've got a unit in front of another enemy unit. Your unit beside those two. There was always that problem where he had to move all the way forward, wheel 90 degrees, and hit that unit in the side.
Mm-hmm.
He had to clear the units on either side of him.
Right.
Right? And he could only wheel 90 to do that. So now, technically, from what I'm seeing, you can go past the unit, wheel more than 90, and come back in to hit him.
As long as you're in the same arc.
Yeah, but that's kind of a significant change.
It is. Or if somebody is next to you on your flank, you can only see like the top corner of them.
We're doing hand gestures that no one can see.
Exactly.
But it's working for us.
It works for us. That's all that matters. It's our channel, damn it. You say you only see the top corner of them, but the rest of the unit is on your flank.
Correct.
Maybe it's in a horde or something. So now you can wheel and better maximize by doing greater than a 90-degree charging to get them actually.
Yeah, possible. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple things in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it helps you maximize better is what it does. Primarily.
Aligning units, same as before. Maximizing contact, same as before. We've actually had a couple questions on this regarding maximizing contact on some of our videos.
Yes.
Charging a fleeing unit. You can take a discipline test to reform post-combat pivot, which same as it was before, just called it just a different name. Multiple charges. Move all charging units, including those failing to charge. Okay. Again, nothing's changing in any of these stuff.
No,
just
no.
wording changes.
Yes.
Blocked path. They added the charging unit is engaged to its front in its front
Right.
to the blocked path exception. And failed charge. Okay, so if you fail your charge, if the highest D6 roll removing the charge of the movement.
This is different.
This was, I believe this is pulled out of the FAQ. First,
Yeah.
wheel the unit until it's facing directly towards the centra of its intended target, or if it was destroyed towards the final position of the center of the unit, or until it cannot wheel anymore due to obstructions, whichever comes first. Then move the unit straight forward. Fails charges, ignore the unit spacing rule. A unit that performs a failed charge move is shaken until the end of the player turn. So, the old rule was if you could not wheel direct and get directly lined up on the unit, you did not move
You
at all.
didn't move. Now you
The
move.
change here is you wheel as much as you can and then move forward.
Right.
So this is I don't know how significant, but this is a change that will come up in a game.
Yeah, I mean, well, it makes things more consistent.
Correct. And I wasn't a big fan of the old way where it's like, oh, I failed the charge, I don't have to move.
Yeah, I mean, compared since the other one you had to move. I mean,
Right.
I'm not a fan of moving failed charge anyway, but if you're going to have it, it should be consistent. And now they've made it consistent, so that's an improvement.
Okay.
We have some of the old charts, and then there's some text here below this, which we're not going to go through for the different figures.
Right. Because while these have details.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be adding more. Keep going. I think
More
there's
text and rules. There are.
Yeah.
There's figure 6. So some figures missing.
looks like there's some figure. They're going to format this some more when they do the final version, so we're going to ignore that.
Okay. And that's going to do it for charging.
And that wraps up this section.
Thank you for listening.
Till the next section.